Leah Homan. Just a note before we get started, we will probably be keeping our segments shorter, around 5 to 10 minutes. So thank you. With that taken care of, I would like to introduce our topic of discussion for today, which is the vegetarian diet. Let's start with the facts. A vegetarian diet does not include any meat, poultry, or seafood. It is a meal plan made up of foods that come mostly from plants. Now these include obviously vegetables, fruits. We're avoiding meats, okay? Now there's many different types of being a vegetarian, which we will get into later. So why are we talking about this? Why is this relevant? And why is this a story today that I chose to talk about? So The Hill found that Americans who identify as vegetarian or vegan now make up at least 6% of the population. And it's possibly getting to 10 to 15%, according to recent surveys. So this is important to discuss and is a major conversation of today. That's why I chose it. It's relevant. A lot of people argue about it. And that's why we here are going to discuss it. It's also important to understand there are varieties of vegetarians, as I just noted, such as vegans, right? There's vegans. There's also something called flexitarian, where they are vegetarian, but at times they flex and they will eat meat. That is all in moderation. But it's something to be worth noted that there are different versions. Now, for the sake of this argument and today's show, we will just be focusing on vegetarians as the definition reads, which is simply they're not eating meat like burgers and steaks, chicken and turkey, but they're still consuming dairy and eggs. See, vegan, they're totally cutting everything out, right? Anything that comes from the animal, the vegan is cutting out. Vegetarian is more so if it is in the process of killing the animal, again, like steaks and chicken, turkey. But again, they will still eat dairy and eggs. So, all right, so it's time to see the sides. You might think there's sides to this. Yes, like in everything in American politics, it's political and there are sides to it. Now, one side is for practicing being a vegetarian. And people are passionate about this too. I'm not just bringing this up. People are very passionate about being a vegetarian or not being a vegetarian, right? So first, why? People can practice being a vegetarian for many reasons. Now, a Harvard study that I found said that people become vegetarians for many reasons, including health, religious, convictions, concerns about animal welfare, or simply their own personal health, the use of antibiotics and hormones in livestock, or a desire to eat in a way that avoids excessive use of environmental resources. So this also can be considered sometimes an environmental issue, because actually in the process of, eating these animals to the end user, a lot of impacts happen to the environment, right? There's a lot of clearing of land that is needed for these animals. So one may point to the argument for vegetarianism is to stand up to the meat industry. Now, why would you want to do this? This is because the meat industry is a brutal place for animals. That is a fact and a reality. So besides the obvious reasons for killing them, many of these places are torturing or holding these animals in very inhumane and disturbing ways, right? So by not purchasing meat, it's going to reduce the demand, naturally, for animals and hopefully lessen the amount of animals being tortured, right? So not only does this side argue against meat because of the torture against animals, but also because of, frankly, how gross these conditions can be, guys. And it raises questions of is eating this even healthy for me? Again, these conditions are brutal. And you see how these animals are being treated and the disturbing, disturbing bacteria that could be in the environment because they're not very cleanly. it raises concerns not about the animals themselves being harmed, but, well, I'm consuming them, right? So is there effects on me? So definitely two amazing, great points for being a vegetarian. 100% understand. Now, the other side. People who are against being a vegetarian argue a lot about it not being nutritionally healthy. Okay, this is a big concern for the other side. Claiming, a lot of them say, you're not going to get all your vitamins and proteins that come from eating meat, right? You get a lot out of meat. Now, this could be counter-argued that as long as you eat the right way as a vegetarian, you will be okay. But the problem with that is it's very difficult to find healthy, substantial vegetarian meals quickly and cost-effective. This is true. My cousin, she's a vegetarian, and she tries to eat as best as she can, but you have to meal prep for being a vegetarian, right? When we go out to eat, sometimes she has to bring separate meals. Or if we have family dinners where the meat is involved, she has to cook separately. Now, a lot of the times she doesn't have, a lot of time to do this. So she eventually is eating, foods that aren't as healthy, right? Like a quick snack, a lot of processed food that you can just quickly grab instead of, taking the time to prepare this meal. So that is for sure a downside, for sure. So as you can see, both sides have both very good points, and all of these factors should be considered when evaluating your diet choice. So with that being said, in closing, guys, I just want to thank you for listening, and I encourage you to tune in next week. Have a great week, everyone. And again, this is the In Between show. Thank you.